She's the girl from a council estate who climbed to the very top.
She's very good, this girl.
She's a real go-getter. What she wants, she'll pretty much go out and get.
A girl who's tasted success.
She was the queen again.
And sadness.
I am so sorry to the other four girls.
And then success.
Overwhelmingly, they wanted her on the show.
And then sadness again.
She got dumped by Simon Cowell.
And then, well, you get the idea. Yes, this is the story of Cheryl Cole.
She has that kind of real exquisite beauty that you want to stare at.
It's been a roller coaster ride.
Who in the right mind would go out and start sending pictures of your private parts
that only the toughest could have survived. A captivating story of dreams.
The word pop star applies to this girl 150%.
And nightmares.
I thought it'd be really funny that, maybe she and I should have our own show. She could talk and I couldn't understand her, and I could talk and she couldn't understand me.
Join us as we tell the true life tale of a gritty northern lass who always fights back and usually wins.
I'm in my 20s, I'm gorgeous, I'm a millionaire, I'm a massive pop star. Really, is it that bad? No.
She was the pop princess of Girls Aloud.
The minute I saw Cheryl, it was like, wow.
Who forged a successful solo career.
I've heard her sing live. I've seen her dance. She kind of has the whole package.
She's gorgeous. She's talented.
She's been the star of X Factor.
She became the nation's sweetheart.
She's an absolute one-off.
And she's married and divorced footballer Ashley Cole.
It wasn't me who broke the marriage up, it's Ashley that broke the marriage up.
2010 might have ended badly, with malaria and losing out to Danny Minogue on X Factor. But this year promised great things for our Cheryl. She was still one of the most glamorous and famous women in Britain. In fact, she was so glamorous and famous that she'd packed her bags for Hollywood, where she planned to become even more glamorous and famous.
We're huge fans of Cheryl Cole, and we're excited because we know that America's going to fall in love with her just like we have.
She's already dominated the UK. She was ready to break out in America.
It's not an easy market to break. I think she has a chance to do it.
We begin our tale in the spring of 2011. The civilised world was agog with big, important questions. Like, was Pippa Middleton wearing anything under her dress at the royal wedding? And more importantly, would our Cheryl win a role on the US version of X Factor?
This is the million-dollar question, Simon.
Making the supercharged talent show a smash hit on Britain's screens wasn't enough for Simon Cowell. He was taking the show to America to make it a smash hit there as well. And he wanted Cheryl to join the US judges. Music mogul L.A. Reid, singer Paula Abdul. Oh, and him, of course.
Simon's a very influential man. He was going over there. It's a massive show. He wanted to bring his team there, and he has done that. It felt like it was pretty natural that she would be following him.
It was an opportunity to turn herself into the most successful girl pop star in the world. Well, the most successful girl pop star from Newcastle, called Cheryl.
Who wouldn't want to go to a massive show that's just starting in America, living in Hollywood?
This would have been the perfect way to introduce her to American audiences.
I'm hoping to get it, so I think we all are. I hope she does well, yeah.
I think she'll get it, so I don't think she'll be very upset at all. I've got a good feeling about it.
But there was a snag. American TV bosses weren't sure about this Geordie slip of a lass.
You know, no one's been contracted yet, apart from me.
And then, relief and celebration all round. No, nothing to do with Pippa's pants. On May the 5th, it was confirmed Cheryl was on the show.
They know who he is, they know who she is. For American audiences, though, Cheryl Cole is something of an unknown. But she's undaunted that she's judging what could become the country's biggest show. So a new name, a new face, and even a new accent for the Americans to get used to.
I kind of got a feel for what I felt people wanted. overwhelmingly they wanted her on the show.
The decision that she would get the role to be a judge on the American X Factor was the biggest thing that could have ever happened to her.
And she was going to use this, she was going to use the American X Factor to kickstart her career as a solo artist in America.
If you have the backing of an American market, you've got the whole world.
Now all she had to do was to be good on it.
I feel a real mixture of emotions. Very excited, nervous.
On May the 8th, rehearsals began.
Cheryl was photographed at the first day of the auditions, and everybody seemed happy and on board.
I was one of the few people that actually saw Cheryl Cole judging the X Factor. I went to one of the large auditions in downtown LA, and she was actually really good.
But then, just 18 days later, it was suddenly all over. Cheryl's topsy-turvy career had taken another downward turn. Studio bosses dumped her, and it was international news.
A big shakeup has occurred on Simon Cowell's upcoming show, The X Factor. UK sweetheart Cheryl Cole, who's a popular judge on the British version, has reportedly been let go from her judging duties.
It's humiliating. I think she was humiliated, publicly embarrassed.
She said she cried and cried. I think it really, really upset her.
Good night.
What was behind this shattering fall from grace? Surely someone must know.
I don't have a clue what's going on.
It's that little something you can't quite put your finger on.
No, I mean, I know nothing about that situation. You only see, what you read in the papers.
Maybe it was the clothes.
We waited with anticipation to see how great Cheryl was going to look.
Her dress sense on the show was remarkably awful. I don't know what happened between leaving Heathrow and landing at LAX.
That orange and purple thing was awful. You couldn't see her shoes. Oh, all of it was horrendous.
Was it the hair?
Too much hairspray. She looked like a Charlie's Angel reject.
Was it the fact no one could understand a word she said? When the boat comes in.
It's a Geordie accent, and I know it kind of comes from like a rougher part of town.
A lot of people were saying that no one could understand what she was saying. That's actually nonsense. Everyone could understand what she was saying.
I mean, she's still speaking English. It wasn't that thick,
Or was it just because nobody knew who the hell she was?
She was confused with Sheryl Crow by a lot of people.
It makes you
Perhaps they weren't ready to adapt such a new face, such as Sheryl Crow, who not Cheryl Cole. Sorry. See, I'm American. There you go.
Or was it Pussycat Nicole?
Literally, like less than a week later, Nicole Scherzinger had taken her spot.
It is singer Nicole Scherzinger, girlfriend of Lewis Hamilton, and already very well known in America, unlike Cole, who was tipped to take over.
It was weird that they had two hosts. They had Nicole Scherzinger and Steve Jones. It was almost like Nicole was just there in the wings, ready and waiting.
Or even worse, had her fairy godfather deserted her?
Simon loves Cheryl. He is kind of a dad figure to her.
She was a great friend of his. She trusted him.
But then on the flip side, he's a businessman.
It wouldn't be the first time that someone's been hired and fired to gain a little bit of publicity and momentum.
Had the man who had pushed her to the top of the Snakes and Ladders board shoved her all the way back to the bottom.
I don't want to be pretending that we're all nice people, because we're not, We work in the music business.
Coming up, Cheryl's life BC, before Cowell that is, as we chart all the ups and downs of her rise to fame from the most humble of beginnings.
She lived in squalid conditions.
And learn how her talent shone through even at an early age.
She was on stage and I just remember asking who was that.
When Cheryl Cole was axed from X Factor USA, it seemed like a body blow to her career. But Cheryl has a knack of turning bad into better than ever before. To understand where she got such grit and determination, we need to go back to her roots. It all started in Newcastle, a city rich in history and other old things where people are known for their keen sense of style and their polite good manners.
This is a piss egg. Hi, Mom!
Our Cheryl story began in the working-class suburb of Heaton in Newcastle, on this street, in this block.
We've done stories about her council estate in Newcastle, and it's a very dangerous, rough place.
It's well documented that she lived in squalid conditions.
Well, that's according to those soft southern types. For Geordies, Heaton's pretty nice.
Traditionally now, it's a mix of student population and sort of traditional working class population and aspiring middle class people.
The fourth of 5 brothers and sisters. Cheryl hardly grew up in a slum, but it wasn't the nicest area, so just how did she get from there to where she is today?
Her mum wanted her to be the best.
Her mum Joan has been instrumental, I think, in getting Cheryl to go on stage.
Every week, whatever Cheryl needed, Cheryl got. And Joan worked really hard to achieve that. And she must be very proud of Cheryl, but Cheryl, again, must be very grateful to her mum.
She was voted bonniest baby. She was always getting prizes for being pretty. And her mum would always say, well, you know, that's good, but, you know, don't get carried away with yourself, love, you know, just calm down. So she kept her feet on the ground all the time, which is why I think she's a fairly well-balanced girl today.
Also voted Mothercare's best-looking girl of Newcastle, Cheryl's mum registered her with a local talent agency.
Just for you.
And before long, she was the cherubic face of warm and fluffy domesticity, fueled by British gas.
Very, very beautiful, even at that age. You know, no makeup, but you could see beautiful skin, those beautiful brown eyes, very, very attractive young girl.
We do it all just for you.
For the ambitious young Cheryl, everything was going well. She was striking poses for all the best catalogues, and the ultimate honour came when she was voted the most attractive girl at the Metro Centre. Fighting off what must have been some pretty stiff competition. Cheryl attended the local Walker Comprehensive School, where her fighting spirit began to emerge.
She was suspended twice for swearing and general bad behaviour. So this was a girl who left school at 16 without very much in the way of qualification.
Her real passion was singing, dancing and even ballet.
She was a dream to take, because when you were teaching her to dance, you had her complete attention all the time.
She wanted to learn everything, you know, and very definite on what she wanted to do.
Cheryl could dance. No, she could really dance. At age 9, she won a position at the prestigious Royal Ballet School in London. But our Cheryl got homesick, and after only 3 months, she headed back up north. But Cheryl hadn't abandoned her dreams of stardom, and soon enough, she caught the eye of the boss of Newcastle itself.
There was a sort of a concert going on for young people, and that was the first time I saw Cheryl Tweedy, as was then, and she was on stage, and I just remember asking who was that.
By 2002, she'd captivated the mayor and conquered the Metro Centre, but now 19, she had her eyes on a much bigger prize. The world. Well, a big recording contract from a big new telly-talent contest. Popstars The Rivals was a glossy Saturday night production with a revolutionary new format, the first ever boys versus girls talent show. The new show attracted thousands of starry-eyed hopefuls.
I'm gonna live forever. I'm gonna learn how to fly high.
Then a record industry mogul who could spot real talent a mile away appeared. That's the fella in the back.
I guess I was the first one, really, to notice her. I mean, and let's, you know, be honest, you couldn't help but notice her.
Although surrounded by beauties, Pete only had eyes for one girl.
There was this stunning girl that was beautiful, had appeared. She walked through the door and radiated. There's no other word. I mean, she was quite a shock. If she ran through Borneo and was, you know, covered in mud at the other end, she'd still look bloody beautiful.
All right, Pete, steady on.
This kid's just so different from anything. God touches certain people in certain ways. And beauty, you know, is definitely, you know, one of those things that he touches people with. And this girl was touched. She's like the boy next door.
Let it go, Pete, let it go. The girl from the Metro Centre had made it to the big stage on a primetime show with a chance to be in the next big pop group. And Cheryl's performances held nothing back.
In the end, it was down to me and her,
and who would get into the band. So in the end we had to go on and fight our corner, and the public chose for Cheryl to get in and not me. So yeah, it was sad.
The singer going home is Emma.
Cheryl's grim-faced acceptance of her rival's defeat emphasised just how important the contest was for them all.
The final of Pop Stars was horrific. It was so tense and so emotional.
Despite drama, tears and a few tuning issues, the moment of truth came and made gripping television. Cheryl's reaction said it all.
Cheryl!
Cheryl had made it. She was in the show's girl group with fellow winners Sarah, Kimberly, Nadine and Nicola. Oops. Together, they were Girls Aloud, the newest incarnation of girl power. But the show wasn't over. In order to win, they had to beat the show's boy band, One True Voice, to the Christmas #1. In a revolutionary simulcast between radio and a talent show, Cheryl and the girls' future lay in the hands of a doctor. Not a real one, though.
It's Girls Aloud.
The girls' reaction showed they knew they'd made it big. They were on their way and the future was bright. After all the years of hard work, Cheryl's family and friends were delighted.
Just so pleased and proud and happy for her. Happy that she's doing what she wants to do.
No one deserves it more than Cheryl, because she's been trying for years for this.
With their #1, Girls Aloud caught the imagination of girls all over the country. Cheryl was famous, but fame came at a price. Less than a month later, she let her fighting spirit get out of hand in a Surrey nightclub.
Girls Aloud singer Cheryl Tweedy left court avoiding eye contact after being convicted for assaulting a nightclub toilet attendant. Miss Tweedy left nightclub worker Sophie Amakbokpa with a badly bruised eye after punching her in a row over not paying for lollipops she took from the ladies' loo at the Drink nightclub in Guildford in January.
So Cheryl is on this night out with the other girls in a club in Guildford. Cheryl, who had had a few drinks, ends up in a row with a toilet attendant in the ladies' loos.
These were two young girls. They had celebrity status. That matched with the excitement of the evening and, you know, the hospitality that was available.
Oh, yeah, they were pissed.
You're going to those kind of clubs, the girls are very competitive, you know, there's a lot of bitchiness. You've got to be able to stick up for yourself, otherwise you're going down.
Cheryl was slapped with a £500 fine and 120 hours community service.
Cheryl Tweedy was, however, cleared of the charge of racially aggravated assault.
I am pleased that the trial is over and thankful that the jury have accepted that this incident had nothing to do with race. I am not a racist, and anyone who knows me knows that I would not say anything racist. I am stunned and disappointed by the conviction for assault.
Things had gone very wrong, but Cheryl turned things around by grabbing the girls and a cameraman and apologising.
I've always said I am so sorry to the other 4 girls and to my fans, to my family, you know, my friends. I am sorry it ever happened, really.
That incident was almost single-handedly responsible for wrecking her career and the careers of the other girls and Girls Aloud.
A lot of girls couldn't have come back from that very successfully. It would have really been a blow to their image.
We're just being ourselves, and that's what we are, feisty young girly girls, and it's obviously coming across to people like...
Cheryl's ability to stand up and fight, literally, had nearly cost her everything. But instead, Cheryl and the girls went from strength to strength, becoming more polished and more perfect by the day.
It wasn't very long that they suddenly turned into this really hugely popular, successful band and became glossier looking and, you know, lost weight, which they didn't need to do anyway, but they kind of all got thinner. They had brilliant stylists.
Cheryl in particular had been transformed into the classy version of the girl from the council estate.
She stood out actually more than the rest because she's more glamorous.
By 2004, everything was back on track for Girls Aloud and Cheryl. They had a platinum album, another #1 song, and luxury apartments in a luxury building in a luxury corner of North London. But there was one thing missing for our Cheryl, a footballer boyfriend. Luckily, there was one just upstairs in the same luxury block, with an even more luxurious lifestyle, including multiple giant watches. But our Cheryl wasn't impressed with his chat.
His chat-up line to Cheryl was, "Hey, hot lips, nice bum." He actually said that to me as well, but, you know, no, he didn't.
According to Ashley, in an exclusive limousine-based interview, meeting Cheryl had been a very different ballgame.
First met her, I was playing tennis with a few of my mates where I live, because obviously she lived in the same complex as well with the other girls, so we spoke for a bit and I asked her for a number, she said no. And then she gave me the number and that was it, really, that was history.
And it could have been history if it wasn't for a clairvoyant.
So apparently, Cheryl went to a clairvoyant and was told by the clairvoyant that, "I know you've been looking at a footballer and admiring him. You should go for it. In fact, you should marry him." Which is kind of far out, right? Because how do they know? But, you know, they do have wisdom, or, you know, inner wisdom, inner power.
Sadly for Cheryl, for another tenner, that wisdom could have extended to also forecasting marital infidelity. Oh well. An intimate documentary proved that even for the most high-profile couples, life's messy realities had to be dealt with.
Are you going to poop scoop? No. I'm not pooper scooping anything, mate. You pooper scoop it.
Not the last mess Ashley would dump on Cheryl. Along with a bag full of poo, Cheryl seemingly had everything. The career, the boyfriend, the money and the fame.
Cheryl is this beautiful girl in one of the most successful girl band groups ever. And there's Ashley Cole, good-looking lad, and it just seemed an ideal couple.
The synergy, the energy created, the paparazzi, they're coming out of the clubs. People went wild for them, they thought it was great.
And Cheryl's life and name was about to change forever when in July 2006, Ashley whisked the 23-year-old off to get married. They had 150 guests, Prince Edward's caterers and an exclusive £1 million magazine deal.
Cheryl and Ashley Cole's wedding was just so OTT, but I thought it looked wonderful. I thought she looked so beautiful, and they looked so happy.
I mean, to be honest, you know, the whole footballer's wife thing, and I don't get it.
The wedding was over the top. They got paid a ridiculous amount for it, but it was kind of the big goodbye, I'm on the A-list now, won't be doing this again.
Cheryl thought she'd hit the jackpot, and yet again nearly blew it. This time on the lottery.
They ended up doing this terrible promotion for the National Lottery where they both dressed up in, I think, these white outfits. This huge car. I mean, it was like the worst outfits you've ever seen. Him with his shirt undone, literally, to kind of belly button level.
He even had his really campily his fingers crossed.
Please don't let her find out about the other girls. Cheryl had gone from a Newcastle council estate to floating on a cloud with a footballer and a car. But it was music that had made her famous.
She is a pop star. There is no question. The word pop star, or whatever you want to call it, applies to this girl 150%.
In 5 years, Girls Aloud had produced 4 albums, sold out 3 UK tours, and were well on their way to having more consecutive hits than any other girl band ever.
Wow, who are they? Those beautiful, stunning girls. That's Girls Aloud. And the routines got sexier, and the grooming, and it just came together, and it was so incredible.
It was quite incredible. She was earning fortunes. It was then that her fame just skyrocketed.
Cheryl was living the dream, in a floating on a cloud with a football away. But it wouldn't be long before the next twist of fate came along. Coming up, Cheryl becomes a TV star.
When the opportunity came, Cheryl was the first person we called.
And then, yes, everything starts to go wrong again.
There was a national outpouring of sympathy for this girl.
And a tiny mosquito derails the mighty wheels of show business.
Your place is never safe on the X Factor panel. Simon Cowell likes to mix things up.
At the tender age of 24, Cheryl's career was on the up and everything was fabulous. Lottergate and Punch-Up-Gate were behind her. But then, at the start of 2008, calamity came calling again, with media allegations that Ashley had been playing away with a hairdresser.
He had no ounce of charm whatsoever. He was this drunken lout that slapped her on the bum, got into a car with her, puked all over the car, told her friend that she should be privileged that Ashley Cole puked all over the car, and then had sex with her and kept stopping to be sick.
Cheryl was thrown into absolute crisis. She never thought this was going to happen to her.
You just thought, how on earth are they going to get over this one, if it was true?
Ashley has never commented on the allegations, and at the time, Cheryl kept stum, but it looked like the marriage was on the rocks.
She basically grabbed the girls, went to Thailand in a very kind of Sex and the City-esque way. She showed a vulnerability.
No longer pretty Cheryl or feisty Cheryl, suddenly events had made her brave Cheryl.
In the most twisted, bizarre way, it boosted her public profile because there was a national outpouring of sympathy for this girl.
She became the martyr, and people just, they warmed to her, of course.
And all you could think of was, regardless of whether it was true or not, was poor bloody Cheryl.
It became this drama, and everybody was on Cheryl's side.
The whole nation really was screaming, you know, ditch him.
She handled it in a very dignified way. We never saw, you know, she didn't attack photographers or scream at photographers. She just behaved in a very decent way.
For a couple of months, she was brave at the airport, brave at the Brits, and even brave promoting a chocolate bar. Then she made the announcement that nobody expected to hear.
You know, that really was quite the making of Cheryl Cole, because the public really got behind her.
She admitted that there was problems and that she was going to work at it, and that she married Ashley for life.
It was the moment she really arrived. Brave Cheryl had become a national treasure. As for Ashley...
Everyone in Britain was united against Ashley Cole.
Cheryl was no longer just the pretty one in Girls Aloud. She was a star in her own right, with the status to do whatever she wanted. She turned bad into good, with remarkable results, and was looking for the next challenge. In her typically forthright manner, she'd already spoken about the band's limited shelf life.
I think it'd be foolish to think that people haven't thought about what they want to do after the band, because, I mean, it's 4 years down the line now, and realistically, how long have we got? Another few, yeah, if that.
Luckily for Cheryl, Sharon Osbourne decided to leave the X Factor, creating a job vacancy in primetime telly. But no one would have predicted Simon Cowell's choice of a replacement.
Sharon Osbourne was out, you know, who are you going to bring in? And when he said Cheryl Cole, most people were astonished.
I thought Simon Cowell had lost it. I thought, what are you thinking of?
I had a kind of one of those moments. One was because I thought that I was finally going to get to be the fourth judge. Two, because I was thinking, but she's just a little kid, you know, how could she be a judge?
When the opportunity came, Cheryl was the first person we called.
Just to be asked by Simon, and, you know, even to be asked to sit in Sharon's chair. I don't want to win for me. I want to do justice for my category.
But you know,
and that's part of, yeah.
You will.
That's part of, you know, choosing the right songs. Quite a lot of responsibility, so really, I'm going to be focusing more so on doing them justice.
Under the wing of the most influential man in TV, Cheryl was not about to fade into the background.
And she came very quietly and just got on with her job, but hijacked the whole show.
She not only hijacked the show, she only went and won it twice. But more importantly, she'd won the nation's love and support, and cannily she used it as a platform to launch her solo career. Helped by the nation's hatred of Ashley, her first solo album and the single Fight for This Love became massive hits.
Cheryl's solo career has just been incredibly successful.
Men do fancy her, yes, but it's women who are the ones who go and buy her records. Mostly young women who aspire to be like her, you know, that they may be from a council estate, they may be at school, you know, they want to be like her.
Everything had gone right with her solo career, and things couldn't have been better. But the elation was short-lived, as just 3 months later, disaster struck again. Husband Ashley was exposed as a sex text pest and a cheater.
She had apparently a great marriage. She got over the last major hiccup and everything must have been just going swimmingly, and then suddenly the shark appeared from nowhere.
The shark came from Hull. Not hell, Hull. home to 250,000 people, and in particular, one innocent landscape gardener and part-time glamour model. She was quietly going about her business when a photograph of a man with no pants on was texted to her phone by a bloke claiming to be Ashley Cole.
Obviously, I didn't believe him at first, I thought it was just somebody winding me up. So I asked him to send me a headshot just to totally confirm it was him, and that's the picture I then received. Who in the right mind would go out and start sending pictures of your private parts to somebody who you've never even met and you don't even know?
Yeah, because it could end up in the papers or something. Oh, wait a minute. Oh, dear. Sonia's revelations opened the tabloid floodgates, and 4 other women came out saying they'd been involved with Ashley. Cheryl's perfect world was falling apart.
Why he picked those women over Cheryl Cole, I will never know.
It was a fresh challenge for me, and said hopefully it will bring a new lease of life and you'll see a new Ashley Cole.
I think it's just an insecurity thing. He knew that she was too good for him. Look, some guys just aren't meant to drive Ferraris. They're meant to drive Ford Focuses. And I think Ashley Cole is one of these guys. Because why, when you have Cheryl Cole at home, why would you go out and cheat?
Her marriage was in trouble, but brave Cheryl refused to buckle. Showing true Geordie grit, she was due at the Brit Awards to perform her debut solo single, ironically named Fight for This Love. And rather than hide away, Cheryl fearlessly faced the public.
Everybody there in that whole room was just wanting her to succeed.
I'm going to run on stage with a banner saying "Dump Ashley." I think we all want to do it, don't we?
It was a very public ordeal, but she got on with the show and all eyes were on her left hand.
Cheryl Cole not wearing her wedding ring was a deliberate message. She knows that it's the first thing that journalists and photographers look for.
That was up yours, Ashley. Look at me. Where are you?
In a bold move, she was literally communicating to the nation through her ring. It started a countrywide debate. Would she take Ashley back again?
I think people were absolutely hooked on this, the whole drama of it all. Would she really take the evil, cheating husband back?
While the country pondered, Cheryl went across the pond, leaving poor Ashley terribly hurt. Not because of Cheryl, though. The poor lamb had turned his ankle. And while he sulked with his leg up, rumours came back from Hollywood that Cheryl had got her leg over. With the Hoff. No, not that one. Hunky dancer Derek Hoff.
Derek Hoff is this dancer in the States who happens to appear on the scene as soon as she'd gone out there just after Ashley's latest infidelities came out. So obviously all eyes were upon her. She's not stupid. She knew that she's walking around with some other guy. People are going to put 2 and 2 together.
Oh, I hope Ashley was gutted.
She returned to England still ringless, and while the country held its breath waiting for an announcement, Cheryl stayed strong and kept a dignified silence.
Cheryl's had a tough life. She knows how to fight. She knows how to drag herself through situations.
Then in June, the country got its answer.
Ashley Cole is today reflecting on life as an X factor in Cheryl's life. She has filed for a quickie divorce.
To add insult to injury, all Cheryl wanted was the dogs. No, Ashley. Coco and Buster.
What more crushing blow can you deal a man's ego than to say even the allure of his wallet is not there anymore? Your money doesn't turn me on, mate, nor do you. Good for her.
Maybe she should have got out a bit earlier, but what it did was it pulled the public towards her.
So much so that in June 2010 she was voted Woman of the Year by Glamour magazine at a glittering ceremony.
The highlight of me is this, and this is going to kick off the next year, and hopefully there's more of these to come.
So everything was looking great. A successful solo career, a new man, and she was putting the past behind her. Once again, Cheryl's switchback life had brought her through disaster, and she'd come out a winner. Or so she thought. Cheryl and her Hoff flew off for a week's holiday to tropical Tanzania, but when she flew home to film for the new series of X Factor, she brought back more than just a suntan and duty-free. Within days, she collapsed at an X Factor photo shoot. Cheryl's exotic holiday had come with an added extra, an exotic and potentially lethal disease. Malaria. Now there's something you don't catch in Newcastle.
And the symptoms include fever, headache, diarrhea, abdominal pain, jaundice.
Cheryl Cole, who's suffering from malaria, has been transferred to the Hospital for Tropical Diseases in central London. The star spent 2 hours in intensive care at the private Cromwell Hospital in West London before the doctors moved her 4 miles across the capital for specialist help.
The time from the onset of symptoms, the appearance of the symptoms, to the appearance of very severe complications, including death, can be very, very short, can be as short as 24 hours.
We'd all been quite cynical about the exhaustion rumours. We just thought maybe the silly girl hasn't had a proper meal.
Fortunately, Cheryl was soon out of danger and recovering well. But was her X Factor career now on the critical list?
Your place is never safe on the X Factor panel. Simon Cowell likes to mix things up, and he makes no secret of that, but I think he's extremely fond of her.
With the support of Mr. Cowell and a full recovery in progress, our gritty Geordie battler was once again coming through a challenge that would have left mere mortals on their uppers.
I think despite her demure, sweet, dimpled exterior, Cheryl's actually a real tough cookie. She's brought up on a council estate, so I think Cheryl has got that streak of being able to pick herself up, dust herself off and carry on.
Coming up, Cheryl's X Factor star starts to wane. Ashley's at it again.
Within 3 days or something, there's 3 girls coming out of the woodwork.
And Cheryl fights back.
She's a feisty, strong girl from Newcastle who hasn't got where she is through being an airy-fairy thing.
By 2011, Cheryl Cole had more or less done it all.
She's a real go-getter, and what she wants, she'll pretty much go out and get.
She had a stellar singing career and was the star of the biggest talent show on British telly.
She was the queen again of Saturday night TV.
But was she? At the end of 2010, a UK X Factor star seemed in decline. She'd missed the first show due to malaria, allowing Nicole Scherzinger to get her feet under Simon's table. And then she was eclipsed by Danny Minogue.
The UK show had been very much, you know, Simon and Cheryl. It was almost like the Simon and Cheryl show.
Danny shook off her Ice Queen image.
But I have to say, I've got a huge amount of admiration for Danny this year. She's literally breastfeeding 1 second and we're going out the next. No, but seriously.
And went on to win with Matt Cardle, ending Cheryl's winning streak. But that didn't seem important when Simon decided to take Cheryl to Hollywood to become an even bigger star on US X Factor.
She was ready to come here, sort of be introduced on X Factor, release her singles as the shows come out.
All seemed well, but this is Cheryl Cole we're talking about. And so once more, as soon as it went right, it went wrong again. And she lost the job. Apparently, she just wasn't well known enough.
Have you heard of Cheryl Cole?
Good question. Who is Cheryl Cole?
She's not the big international star.
Cheryl's rollercoaster life had seen her dumped into the gutter again. Her US career was in tatters. Even her champion, Simon Cowell, seemed to have deserted her.
You're gonna miss me. Maybe some part of her thought it's another man letting her down.
At least Cheryl still had her old job, didn't she? A promo for the new series mischievously played up the mystery. Epically tantalising and teasing, and then revealing, oh.
We have new talent. The new talent is going to surprise everybody.
Enter N-Dubs to Lisa Contostavlos.
Everyone's got the perception that, you know, I'm going to be the mean judge. I am very feisty, very dominating.
Yes, finding a feisty brunette from a council estate to take Cheryl's place on X Factor proved not entirely impossible. But was she pushed, or did she jump?
Something happened, so we said we want to front up the UK show. She said no. Then we offered her the show back, and I don't think she wanted to come back.
And to sort of offer her the UK job back, I mean, rub salt into the wounds, why don't you?
Things were bad, but this is Cheryl we're talking about, so things got even worse. Success loves a winner, and right now the lovely Cheryl was a loser. So Derek Hough, who she'd been romantically linked with, decided to split.
She got dumped from the X Factor, she got dumped by Simon Cowell, they broke friends, so she's lost that, and then Derek Hough actually woke up and smelt the coffee and dumped her as well.
Could things get any worse? Yes, they could. She started seeing Ashley again.
what happened as a result of being ditched by Cal was that it pushed her straight back towards Ashley.
When you're that broken down, you go back to what you know, and he was a huge part of her life, so you can't really blame her for it.
He'd broken her heart with 1 or 2 marital indiscretions, well, 5 actually, but now surely he'd be a reformed man. Surely it was time for love's young dream to blossom again.
Anyone who knows Cheryl well knows that she loves Ashley and she can't let him go.
And after a "I'm sorry for divorcing you" lap dance, it seemed the romance was back on. But it transpired that while he was wooing Cheryl, Ashley was also wooing elsewhere.
But then he went and did whatever he did, and there's allegations that he cheated on her again.
Yes, it was reported that Ashley had cheated on Cheryl all over again. Not once, but 3 times.
I'm not your type. Within 3 days or something, there's 3 girls coming out of the woodwork saying they all got together with Ashley while he was in LA on holiday. Has she not been through enough?
In a world of snakes and ladders, it seemed Ashley was still the biggest snake of all. But they billed them tough in Newcastle. Cheryl had spent her whole career bouncing back and wasn't about to take this latest setback lying down. Oh no.
The greatest thing about Cheryl Cole is that she's got this resilience, which is inherent in her. And I think if you do understand what shit is, basically, nothing really can actually knock you down. You know what? I'm not doing the American X Factor, but to tell you the truth, I'm in my 20s, I'm gorgeous, I'm a millionaire, I'm a massive pop star. Really, is it that bad? No.
He may have a point there. This is Cheryl's new LA pad.
Here's the new Century Tower, which is where Cheryl Cole just purchased a flat. It's probably one of the most unique new residential towers that we have in LA. Their prices are starting at about almost $3 million, about $2.8 million. It's actually on 4 acres of land, so it has its own private park. And in my opinion, probably one of the best pools in LA. And Los Angeles is all about the pool because we have great weather.
It's a world away from Biker Grove, isn't it?
So Cheryl's got somewhere to kip in the city of dreams. She can even dream of a new career there, with rumours of a movie role alongside superstars Cameron Diaz and Jennifer Lopez. But what's the end of this happy and then sad, and then happy and then sad, and then hopefully happy again story?
I think Cheryl Cole could be America's sweetheart. I totally fell in love with her last year when I was watching X Factor. I think she's just got such a shining personality.
Will the other man in Cheryl's life rescue our damsel in distress?
So he's been texting her and he's been apologising and he's vowed to help her crack America.
Who knows exactly where their relationship is right now, but I hope that they rekindle things because that's who could really, really help her here.
If I got a text from Simon Cowell, I'd be the happiest man ever.
You're very cheeky.
Will she settle down to a life of simple domestic bliss?
I think that she'll fall back in love with Ashley, marry him again, they'll have a few children, and she'll be the happiest ever housewife you've ever seen.
Or maybe there's another way. Maybe Cheryl doesn't need a man after all.
Cheryl Cole has talent, and she's hot. Come on, people like to watch her dance. Girl crush 100%. If she wants a going out partner in LA, call me. I think we'd get along great.
One of the busiest beats in central London and the people that keep us safe 24/7. Bank Holiday Monday sees the return of Soho Blues. It's the new series at 9. Next, the celebrities have been getting up to no good in the garden in Big Brother.